Hey guys, I thought I would talk about the car companies, the electric car companies, because I haven't talked about them for a little while. So one that I talked about before was Shell, SHLL. So you could see here that we had this uptrend. We were above the 8 EMA, or this trend line that I drew here. These lines here are kind of like pullbacks or consolidation. So you wait to see that it breaks up above that, and you could have got in here, and then once we get to this point, we break this down, this uptrend here, this line, and we close below the 8 EMA. That's where you'd want to get out. So I haven't been talking about this stock for a while, but the other thing is to consider when to get back into the trade. And what I usually do is I see it for a break of a down trend like this line here, above the 8 EMA. But I'd also like to see that we had a green volatility stop. So you can see that we still have the red volatility. The other thing you can look at is MACD. Like you see it cross down, so the momentum is declining here. So these are kind of, this is a potential indicator that would help you decide not to get in at this point. So just because you have a break of this, like you had a break of the uptrend, and there's sort of a flat period here, but you see it closing. If you did get in here, say right there, even with this declining MACD, you would have to close. So sometimes you might lose a bit or break even, but it saves you from, right now we have a 20% today decline in this SHLL. So I wouldn't have been in this stock at this point. If you want to try to get out at the at higher points, you could potentially get into shorter term durations, 30-minute charts. I'll scroll back a bit. But, if you want to try to catch the peak, but using the daily chart, you could have got out when it closed right here, below the 8 EMA. So if we look at Tesla, we had a break of the downtrend here. You might have gotten in here, and then you would have sold at a close here, or when you see this gap down. So now that we're down here, I wouldn't be buying that either. There is NKLA. I wouldn't have been in this for quite a while, but if you know anything about this company, you know that it's kind of a sham mostly. It's just, there's nothing tangible in terms of products for the trucks and stuff like that. But technically, the only spot you could have potentially bought is this break of this big downtrend. So you had a big downtrend here. You could have these little short-term trades, but this might have got you here where it broke through. But I don't always buy the first break of a big downtrend of the 50. I wait to see it confirm, and you can see it broke right back down through it. So it didn't really support at the 50 at all. So the first break is just an indicator in a sense that there's a change of sentiment. But I know a lot about this company, and I, especially compared to Tesla, where you don't really have any tangible products. There's a couple other ones. NIO as well. From a technical perspective, I wouldn't be buying this one because we're down below the 8 EMA. So I'd want to see it come up above that. So there's been a bit of a consolidation pullback. If we extend this trend line that I have here, we're still kind of above it. So I'd want to see some support, and then above the T line, above the 8 EMA. If you're using momentum indicators, you'd want to see it cross back up above. Like you can see whenever it crosses up here, you usually have a bit of an uptrend there. And then there's this other one, Solo. This one's been in a pretty bad situation. So same sort of thing. When you see this downtrend, the red volatility stops, and especially when the candles are below the 8 EMA. So I'd want to see a break of the 50 and sort of an established uptrend. So you don't really have, like, just this candle here or here doesn't establish an uptrend. You need to have higher lows. You need to see it come up, come down, and then back up again. So you need to see a higher low established, and that's never happened. So yeah, just to go through mainly the shell, SHLL. It's pushing back here off the 50, you can see, but that indicator of a gap down is and being below the 8 EMA. I definitely wouldn't be getting this right now. So thought I would just do an update on that. And the markets, the Nasdaq is up a bit. It was down in pre-market, but as because this is below the 8 EMA in a downtrend, I wouldn't. You can see how we've had the odd bullish candle, but we're still in a downtrend. IWM is Russell 2000 downtrend. Everything's in a downtrend. All the markets are down, even though there might be a little bit of an uptick here. So I wouldn't be getting into those. You can look at inverse. I mentioned this before, but these are inverse ETFs, so you could potentially look at those if you're looking to take advantage of the downtrends. All right, guys, talk to you later.